G'day everyone. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about how to take a lick or a melody and apply rhythmic variation to get the most out of that idea. Sounds good? Check it out. Okay, so today's all about theme and variation, taking ideas and getting the most out of them by altering the rhythm and seeing if we can come up with different ways to present one musical idea. It's going to be pretty cool. Let's get stuck into it. So let's just say we're noodling around on the guitar, mucking around with some things, and you come up with a cool idea. The first thing you should do is play it again, because you've got to repeat this idea to lodge it in the brain. So if you can play this idea a few times, you've locked in a cool little lick or melody, which now we can use and start exploring the different ways we could approach this. So today we're going to focus on rhythm and how to vary it to get the most out of this lick. So let's just take some kind of simple idea, might take a little minor pentatonic lick, and let's just see what we can do with it rhythmically. So if I played something in A minor like this, so that's my idea. For those playing at home, this is A minor pentatonic. We're playing A, down to E, down to D, up to G, down to E, down to A. So let's see what we can do with that rhythmically. But the first thing is, what is that rhythmically? With no frame of reference or no pulse to speak of, we don't really know what it is, but most of us are going to make an assumption. So if I play this, most of you have already formulated an idea as to how you think that rhythm goes. You decided where beat 1 was, you decided what the subdivision was, whether consciously or not, you've probably already got an idea. Chances are you're probably hearing it maybe as a 16th note phrase, 1 E and a 2 E, or even 8th notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and. So that's great. Now the idea is, what are we going to do with this? Let's say it's a 16th note phrase. So we're going to go 1 E and a 2 E, 3, 4. 1 E and a 2 E, 3, 4. Sounds pretty good. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to experiment with rhythmic displacement. So what this means is we're going to take the phrase and we're going to move it either forwards or backwards in time so it starts and ends on different beats. So considering we're using 16th notes, at the moment we're starting on the downbeat, 1 E and a 2 E. What if we just moved it back a 16th note and started it on the of 4 instead? So we'd get something like 1, 2, 3, 4, R1 E and a 2, 3, 4, R1 E and a 2, 3, 4. So that's a different sound. We have different emphasis points within that lick. The thing to realize is why this works is my fingers are doing the same thing. So they know how to do that. But when we have a beat involved, our ear places different emphasis on different notes. So in the first example, if we consider this to be beat 1, 1 E and a 2 E, chances are we're going to put like a subconscious emphasis on the 1, 2. So those notes are going to sort of accentuate to us, giving us a feeling of where this lick lies. So if I move it somewhere else, different notes in that lick are going to get emphasis and it's going to shift our perception of the sound. So let's just try this for a sec. Now, if I play 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and R1 E and a 2 E and a 3, the 4 E and R1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E E1 E and okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this lick and we're going to put it on all of its different positions on the 16ths. So we're going to have a lick starting on beat 1, Then we're going to listen to what it sounds like starting on the E, and then we're going to listen to what it sounds like starting on the and then we're going to listen to what it sounds like starting on the A. So what I'll do is I'll get a click track to start with, so you can sort of hear the pulse, and then I'll play the lick in its 4 different positions, and then we'll see what it sounds like. So here's a click. We're just sitting at 90 at the moment. 1, 2. So I'm going to start this on beat 1 and play that 4 times in a row. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. 1 E and a 2 E, 3, 4. Now I'm going to put it on the E, so I'm moving it back or forward, depending on how you think of it. I'm going to put it on the 1 E. So it could sound like this. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 4, 1 E and a 2 E and 3. 4, 1 E and a 2 E and 3. That sounds quite different to me. All right, let's just try moving it again. Let's put it on the and. So it's going to go on the 1 and, shifting the whole thing across again. So it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and a 2 E and A. 1, 4, 1 and a 2 E and A. Pretty cool. And the last position to put this on in 16ths would be on the A. So I'm going to put it on the A of 1 and see how it feels. Sounds like this. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. A 2 E and a 3, 4, 1. A 2 E and a 3, 4, 1. All right, so that's the idea of rhythmic displacement. We're positioning the phrase on different portions of the beat, and it gives us a different emphasis points with each note. Now, these are quite interesting, because one thing to realize about when I play a phrase is something as simple as this. That last note that I'm playing, that's like the cap of the statement. That sort of sums it up. It's a finishing point or a landing point, if you will. And the great thing about rhythmic displacement is I can move my phrase so I can have my landing point wherever I want. For example, the strongest place arguably to land a phrase would be on beat 1 of the bar. So what that's going to do is it's going to have my lick proceeding and then falling nice and neatly onto beat 1. For this, I'll put a drum beat on for this one, just so you can get more of a sense of the context of this. So the trick here is I need to know where to start my lick to have it land on 1. Now in this case, this lick has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 notes. So now we want to think about it. The easiest way to do this is probably just thinking of it backwards. That's my landing note. I want that to be beat 1. If I go backwards through my lick, that's going to be the A of 4. And then if I go here to the G, that'll be the and of 4. And then I go here, the D will be the E of 4. This E will be beat 4. My starting note, apparently it's going to be the A of 3. That's going to give me my notes, and it's going to have the landing note right on beat 1. So I'm going to start this lick on the A of 3, and let's have a listen to what that sounds like. So 1, 2, 3, A for you. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. So that's pretty cool. My landing note, bang on the 1. Now, you can put it anywhere you like, obviously, but let's listen to the different variations. If I was to pull the whole phrase back by a 16th note, my landing note is going to be on the A of 4. Now, that's really cool, because that's going to give me like a 16th note anticipation, which is really great. It gives a forward momentum or a sort of forward energy to my lick. So all I've got to do is just take everything backwards 1. I started on the A of 3. I'm going to go backwards and start on the and of 3. It'll be and A, 4, E, and A. That's on the A of 4, right where I want it. So let's listen to that, starting on the and of 3. 1, 2, 3, and A, 4, E, and A. That sounds really cool. It's got a really great energy to it. We're still dealing with more syncopation with that lick. Let's move it back again. This time, the landing note is going to be on the 4 and. I'm going backwards again. This is like an 8th note anticipation, also super cool. My starting note needs to go back too. So I'm going to start on the E of 3. So it'll be 3E and a 4E and a. That's really cool. Let's listen to that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3E and a 4E and 2, 3E and a 4E and 2, 3E and a 4E and. I like that one too. That one's really cool. And then we if we move back again, the landing note's going to be on the E of 4, and my starting note will be on beat 3. This is now starting on the beat, which is kind of where we originally heard it, but I'm starting on beat 3. Let's just listen to that one again in context. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. 3E and a 4E. Awesome. Okay, so there's our 4 variations of rhythmic displacement with that lick. I think hopefully you'll agree they all sound kind of different. They sound a bit unique. These are really cool because I can preempt the end of my phrase based on where I started. But more to the point, I've got one idea that I can play. My fingers are good at doing it, but now I've got like 4 variations. That's like bang for your buck. It's not just like, oh, here's a lick. Now I've got to come up with a new lick. No. Just vary the lick you've got. Let's get the most out of these things. So that's our rhythmic displacement. Super cool. The next thing we could think about doing, instead of rhythmic displacement, we could take our original assumption that this lick was 16th notes and think, what if it wasn't? What if it was 8th note triplets, for example? So now I just get to play the same lick, but I'm playing it at a different rate. So I'm playing 8th note triplets. So it's going to be a bit slower than before, but it's got a different feel. As we all know, triplets have a much more bouncy swing feel than the straight 16th notes. So let's get the click back on for a sec and listen to what our lick will sound like if I just play it as 8th note triplets. I'm going to start on beat 1 just to get a sense of the triplet. So here's our beat, 90 BPM. Get an idea of triplets in our head first so we know the feeling of the subdivision. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3, 4. 1 triplet, 2 triplet. So that's really cool. It's got a different flavor than the 16ths. Now that one's great. I started on the beat, 1 triplet, 2 triplet. So the landing note we talked about before, this one's like an upbeat triplet, like a swing feel. So again, it's got a similar forward energy to the 16th anticipation we did before, but now we're in a triplet feel. Super cool. I can then obviously do rhythmic displacement to this. So that was starting on the beat. What if we started it on the second triplet? So we'd go 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 3 triplet. We're going to put it there. Let's listen to that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1. Nice. So with that one, you might notice that the landing note, bang on the beat. So that'd be a really good one to use if you want to have that beautiful sticking point. And then the last position we can put this in would be on the second triplet. So this is going to start on the upbeat like the swing, and our first note is going to land just after the beat. But let's have a listen to that, starting on 1 triplet right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet. Nice. So that's the same concept. We're just doing rhythmic displacement, but now we're in eighth note triplets. Super cool. We've already got loads of different ways of playing this one lick already. Okay, so that's great. Then just back onto the subdivision or rhythmic frame rate is we probably should take this through as many different subdivisions as we possibly can just to see what it sounds like. So we could play this as anything. We could play this as quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. We could play it as eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. We could play it as crotchet triplets. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3, 2, 3, 4. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not bad. There's loads of things we could do with this. We could get into some even trickier rhythms. We could try and think of it as like maybe a 5/2, which is kind of a really cool polyrhythm I've been mucking around with. Let's just have a listen to some of the different like frame rates we could play this lick at. What I might do is I might pop the click on and I'll start nice and slow at, say, crotchets. I'm going to slowly work my way up and get faster and faster and just see what they all sound like, because they've all got a different vibe. Let's have a listen. Here we go. Quarter notes to start. All right, on the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe eighth notes. Let's listen to those crotchet triplets again, these ones. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I like that. Nice. We could check out that gnarly one. 5/2. How about this? 2, 3, 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. I like it. We could go up to eighth note triplets again, which is one we heard before. We got nice. We could do the 16th. A bit faster again. We could go for quintuplets. Yeah. I like those. We could try 16th note triplets. Anyway, that just gives you a brief idea of the different frame rates you can play this thing at, and yeah, they all sound a little bit different. And of course, any of these frame rates you try that you think, oh, I like the sound of that, you should also take it through the rhythmic displacement and go through all of its particular start and end points. That way, you just have truckloads of ways to interpret this one idea. So that's my sort of 2 cents at the moment on just rhythmic variation. There's a few other little bits and pieces we could muck around with. Something that's kind of not talked about a lot, and on bass in particular, I find it one of the most powerful devices, is note length. We quite often always talk about subdivisions and tempo, but how long are all my notes going? Am I playing them all full value? Am I doing some staccato? Am I just doing rests? That can actually change the sound of a line quite dramatically. So let's take something simple like, let's just take the eighth notes again and listen to what I can do with changing the note length. So are they all long? Are they all short? Am I doing a combination of long and short? So have a listen to this. It says eighth notes with varying note length. I'll start all long. Nice and simple. Let's go full staccato. Nice. Totally different vibe. Combination. Staccato, but the last one is long. It just adds extra weight to that long note. So that's another thing we've got to remember to consider, is note length is huge. I might even do a whole episode on how the note length can drastically affect the sound of a bass line. It's pretty wild. Mind you, if you've been playing a while, chances are you're already doing note length and varying note length, because this stuff just feels right. It feels right to play some notes long and some notes short. We're not consciously thinking about it, but yeah, it's really important to get in control of it so you can get the most out of your lines. Anyway, I think that's probably about enough for today. That's just one of the quick little intro into rhythmic variation on a theme or a riff. In the next lesson, I want to talk about the other side of the spectrum, which is taking this idea and thinking, what can I do to it melodically and harmonically? How could I alter these notes to sound more major? How could I reharmonize these notes to fit over different chords? How could I play this lick in different parts of the scale to get what's something we call sequencing? So getting they're really awesome. We've all done these things before, but I want to take this one idea. I'm sure you're sick of hearing by now, but we're going to stick with it for the next lesson. I'm going to check out melodic and harmonic variations.